Hello guys and welcome back. First of all, I want to apologize for the abrupt ending of that last part, but I was kind of running out of time. But as I promised, we're gonna model a decent screw this time. So go into the front viewport, zoom in on the screw here, and we're gonna start with a cylinder. Make sure it has 12 sides and the radius is the same on both X and Y axis. Okay, and now we're gonna make a couple of bevels using the bevel tool, B on the keyboard. Okay, hold down shift, click once to reactivate the tool, and just like that. Now we're gonna change to shaded. Let's just move this out of the way. And now we're gonna give this flat screw some shape. I think this needs to be a bit bigger. Okay, pull this one back a little bit. Now we're gonna go back into the front, and we're gonna select those polygons. Oops, kind of it's rather hard to select them in wireframe. Okay, now we're gonna bevel them in, inset them actually slightly. Shift click once, and then we're gonna add the support edge there and another inset, and now we're gonna collapse those. Okay, and I think this is pretty close. Now let's give this some thickness using edge extend. Okay, and now we're gonna have to place it on the actual tweeter. So let's just cut and paste that. Before we place it on the tweeter, I just want to make a few changes to the overall shape of the tweeter. I'm sorry, I can't actually remember if I did this change in the last video, but if I did it, it's okay. If I didn't do it, all I did was basically I unsmoothed everything. I removed this edge and this edge, and then I just selected this edge loop and pulled it back just a little to give the tweeter some bit of a curve there. Now the tweeter is gonna sit on this front panel here, so we're gonna give it a bit of an edge on the back here. I'm just doing this using edge extend. Okay, and that should be okay. And now we're gonna place the screw on the tweeter. Now you're gonna see that since this surface is curved, the tweeter, we're gonna need to rotate it in place. But instead of rotating it around and playing with it to find out the perfect angle, I'm gonna use a tool in Modo. I'm not sure that you guys are familiar with it. It's called the tack tool, and you can find it under the edit tab, tack tool. Basically, how this works is it takes a polygon that the user selects, and then it places that polygon along the normals of another polygon, the one that you click on. But to do that, we need to cap this surface here. So we have a polygon to select, and then we go to edit, click tack tool, and then we're gonna go to front. Well, actually, before we do that, we need to move this behind, so we can click on this one instead of this one. So again, select this polygon, go to edit, tack tool, go to the front viewport, switch over to wire, and just click right here in the middle. And it should have, but it didn't. So again, front. Oh, we we need to be in shaded mode. So just click roughly in the middle, and there we go. Now it's placed perpendicular to the surface of the tweeter. Now we're gonna switch our action center to local, and we're gonna move it a bit in. Okay, and now we're gonna duplicate it using the radial array tool, which is right here under the duplicate tab. So click radial array, click here in the middle, roughly in the middle. Okay. Oh, yeah. First of all, we need to set the action center to automatic and not local. Okay, so reactivate the tool and click in the middle. We don't want 24 copies. We want only 4, and then we drop the tool and we're done. Now let's give these screws a bit of a randomness. So let's just rotate a few of them around. Okay. Okay, so that's okay for now. Okay, now we're gonna select the case. Actually, we're gonna select this mesh. You can either select it by switching to wireframe and then dragging a selection around it, or you can just use Alt Shift A, which is select all. It's under here, select and all. So Alt Shift A, then switch over to shaded, go back to case, and now we're gonna pull this one back. Oops. Set your action center to local. I'm sorry, to automatic. Okay, and this should be fairly close. I think that's okay. Now we're gonna copy it using the instance clone tool. So instance clone, click once and drag down. Try to place it roughly in the center. Okay, maybe a bit down. That should work. Okay, and I think this is about it for the speaker. Another thing that we need to model is this KEF logo here. So we're gonna model it using the references that I saved. First of all, save your scene, and then we're gonna jump into the right viewport. Okay, and we're gonna model this logo. So we're gonna model it using the pen tool because it's, well, you see this is actually flipped. So to fix that, well, you can either model it like this, I'm not sure it makes any difference, or you can go to where your reference image is and just hit flip, and it should flip into the right angle. But we're gonna model it like this, or you can set here to left, and it should be okay. So we're gonna start outlining this logo. Actually, for this part here, I think it's better if we start with a box. Okay. And now we're gonna add some loop slices. Okay, for that small part, I'm gonna use edge extend to there, edge extend to here, and now I'm gonna scale it. And now I need to make sure that these are aligned. I'm just scaling them to 0 on the z-axis. That aligns them perfectly. And now right there. Okay. And we're gonna do the same, basically the same process for the other letters. I just copy that polygon. Save some time. Okay, now I'm gonna add those two loops. Okay, and push these up. I think they need to be wider, kind of like that. Okay, don't need to match it exactly, but if you want, you can. But I think it's better off to leave them symmetrical. Okay, so move them up and just kill them a little bit. Okay, and now we're gonna do the same for the E. Except we're gonna delete those. We're gonna move this here, and then we're gonna add some cuts with the slice tool, and we're gonna move those up. And for the F, we're just gonna copy the E. We're gonna move it in place, and we're gonna delete the bottom part, and we can also delete that one. Okay, now we switch over to perspective. Let's hide our reference images and the case with all its stuff. Yeah, okay. I need to flip them so they look correctly. And now we're gonna have to add the support edges for this so it looks sharp. First of all, we're gonna start with this one. It's a bit complicated. So I'm gonna add them using the symmetry and the symmetry mode with loop slice. Okay, so that's sharp. Now we need this one to be sharp. I think these need to be a bit more close there. Okay. Also, you might want to remove unnecessary edges. It depends on the speed of your computer, but mine can handle polygons. So if your machine can't handle too many polygons, you can feel free to remove any unnecessary edges. Okay, now this is done. We can use extrude X and just give it like 3 centimeters. And then run another loop slice there. And that should be okay. And we're going to repeat the process for this part. Okay. Again, extrude with 3 centimeters. And just like that. Okay, now I did 2 letters, and for the sake of time, I'm going to pause and resume once I'm done. Okay, I just finished. There you can see the logo. Now, one last thing we need to do is make the plate that the logo is on. think it's left. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start with the cube, and we're gonna get it like that. Switch over to perspective. Give this one the same thickness, maybe a bit more, say 4. And I think, yeah, I think we made the logo a bit too thick, so I'm just gonna make it like 80%, maybe 75% thinner. Okay. And now we're gonna add some edges for this plate. Okay. And we're gonna add some segments. So the smoothing distance is a bit smaller. Okay. Now we're gonna place the letters on the plate. So instead of going like this and selecting everything, I'm just gonna select this one because it's the number. It's one single object, and I'm gonna invert the selection using the square bracket. Uh, select invert. There we go. So the square bracket, and now I'm gonna move the letters on the plate here. I just want them to cut in just a little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the front. I'm sorry, right or left. Okay, and it looks like we did the plate a bit smaller than it should have been. So we're just gonna drag this one down, maybe like that. Okay, and now we're gonna copy the screws from the tweeter, and we're gonna place them on the plate. Since now the rotation of this is kind of awkward, again it would be hard for us to try to match it or actually bring it back to its original position. So we're just going to use the tag tool again and place it on this one, on this surface, and we know that's a planar surface, so we're gonna just move it in place. Okay. Okay, so actually made in my original model I made the screws a bit bigger for this piece, but I think that smaller is better. Okay. Now let's place our plate to the case. So select all, sorry, and we're gonna move them right about there. Okay, so just like that. Now we're gonna adjust this a little bit. Not sure I'm too happy with the position. But no, let's leave it like that. Okay, let's rename this layer now. KEF, KEF, sorry, underlying plate. Let's remove this backdrop, and now let's view our speaker. And now I'm just gonna look around my model. That's what I always do. I tend to look around my model quite a lot after I finish modeling it and see if I missed anything or want to add something more, kind of like that. Um, we're not going to be worried about the back. It's not going to be visible in our renders. What I don't like though is this speaker. I think it's the speaker membrane is a bit too inward. So I'm just gonna select everything but the speaker membrane, and I'm just gonna bring it out. Okay, that should be alright. Maybe this rubber can be a tiny bit flatter. Okay, and now we can save our scene. And we're gonna eyeball it again. Okay. One thing I want to say is that usually speakers come with a protective net around the speakers themselves, but I don't know. I just think it's nicer to display them like this, because if you put the net in front, you are gonna barely see what's behind it. But if you want, you can add the net. I'm just gonna quickly show you like the method that you can add the net. So we're gonna use the back here. I'm gonna rotate it 180 degrees on the y-axis. I'm gonna move it in front. Okay. And basically what you do is you don't want it to be rough like that. So basically what you do to achieve the net, well, you could probably mull the actual wires, but if you ask me, I think it's better to just do it from the texture. Like, let me just let me just show it to you real quick. So you have first, let's save. So you have this one. I'm gonna give it a material, call it net. And I'm gonna add a grid material to it. Should be solid. The thing is that I'm just using the grid because I don't have a real net texture right now, but you can do this with a bitmap. I just want you to know that you can use the bitmap to replicate what I'm doing here with the grid texture. So you just get your bitmap mapped how you want it to be mapped. I think my 1 centimeter scale here is a bit too much, too little actually. Okay, so let's just leave it like that. Maybe 6. Damn. Okay, 6 centimeters. Let me just try and see if I can get this to there we go. Something like that. Not exactly like that, but something like that. And you probably want to give this material here some other these polygons, you might want to give them some other material, like something like black, or I don't know, something like that. Or you can detach this face altogether and make separate geometry. But I'm just gonna show you here how to achieve that net look. Okay, so you have these set as diffuse color, but we actually want them to be stencil. So being stencil, I'm not sure they work the same. Yeah, we're only getting the points, so I think if we invert, yeah, we're gonna get what we want. So actually we're getting the exact opposite of what we want. And I think we need to invert these values. And we get exactly what we didn't want. Well, I'm gonna pause here for a second, and I'm just gonna look for a bitmap to use as an example. Okay, sorry for the delay. Let me just delete this, and now I found, actually I made this one from a image, smaller one. It's not perfect, but it should make my point. So I'm gonna put this as, well, actually we can put it as solid, but I prefer to use it as a UV map. So we're gonna go over to the UV tab real fast. We're gonna delete this texture, create a new one. We're gonna click use image ratio, and we're gonna select just the mesh that we need. So we're gonna we're gonna project it from the view. And now we're gonna try to fit it best way we can. Okay. I think we can probably wrap it. Not sure if we can. We can't. Well, the texture needed to be a bit smaller, but anyway, you can make it any size you want in Photoshop. Okay, and we can change this to stencil, and there we have it. That's our net. We can actually enable two-sided on this one, and then we can unhide our case and our speakers. And as you can see, you can't see too much through the net. You can see stuff, but imagine if it's smaller, you won't be able to see like anything. Okay, and you can do a net, but for this tutorial, I'm just gonna leave it without a net. Let's just give our speakers a small render here. Okay, a few basic settings. I'm just gonna set the material here to 100% with 20% specular, maybe 70 roughness. I'm gonna give it a gray material. Make sure your gamma is set to 2.2. We're gonna discuss this further in the next parts of this tutorial, where we're gonna texture the the speaker and we're gonna render it. Okay, maybe want this to be like 2. It's nothing fancy, just something you can show. Okay, you can't see too much. Say you want things to differentiate better. You can just assign like different shades of gray. Say that's shader 1. Actually, that's shader 2. And this is shader 1. So shader 1 is like a 240 white with conserve energy on, and let's give it 75% diffuse amount. Same for this one, and this one should be like a 200 white or 201, depends. Okay. And you can just go around and assign stuff. Kind of like that. Okay, let's just set a bigger resolution here. Maybe 1200. And let's just render this. Okay. Thanks for watching, and tune in for the next part of this tutorial when we're gonna texture and render this speaker.